most operas are based on one story. And this piece is based on 6 stories. All of them, of course, revolve around the idea of migration, what that means to different people, and is it always a hugely problematic thing, which to some extent we find very topically today. I mean, the period of time that human beings have spent not migrating is much shorter than the period of time they spent migrating, which was thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So we are essentially a migratory species. And this little settled life that we've concocted over the last, say, 1,000 years is a relatively recent development, you could say.
The thing about migrations, and the thing I think we're trying to tell everybody, with empathy, with comedy, with visual splendor, so that those bridges are built and we can connect, is that the migrant experience is actually not that much of a leap for anybody who's had to make any kind of big change, whether you've had to cope with grief, or whether you've had to cope with moving home, or any of these big changes. The human being is very resilient, and I think that's what we're showing the world, that we are like you, and we all have this connection. And the best of all, this is about celebrating resilience, so let's do that.
People need to understand, and we've all got stories, and we've all got a message and experiences. The theatre, poetry, TV, radio, they're all about the stories that we tell. I think that the Welsh National Opera wanted to create this production which encouraged more people to attend and also be involved in the opera who might not normally be at top, to break that stereotype of the white middle class man. Those people have stories, and they're equally as valid and important as anybody else, and we all need to hear that and become more enriched and make the world more interesting when we involve everybody, and we're more diverse. I'm pretty sure that would help us to live better lives and to be better people.
Both look out for the stories as disparate ones, as different ones, telling you different parts of history and different people's backgrounds have come into it, but also think of the opera as a whole, because what it tells you is what Nira sings about, that no land is untouched by foreign feet, and none of us are pure in terms of race, in terms of identity. We're all a mix of something.
We articulated our scenes and our characters and how we saw them, and Will appeared to completely understand them and incorporated our suggestions and came up with what he came up with, yeah. I thought we had to write more as well. I think on the first draft, Edson and I kind of written our complete story, whereas the other writers who may have done it before were still, evolving theirs. In a normal play, it's 5 times more writing than an opera, because obviously you may spend much more time on one sentence, either repeating it or singing it. Like the line "come home" is now a song, whereas in a play it would just be one line, you say it and move on. But so we didn't have to write as much as I thought we would have to write.
The stories are told basically in an interlocking way, so that you don't just get one story and then the next story. You get a bit of one story and then a bit of the next story. And then we decided that there would be a story at the heart of each half, which would be a standalone story. So there are 2 standalone stories, one in the first part, one in the second, and the other 4 stories are mixed up around those 2 pivot points.
I don't think this approach to opera has been done before. It's a great set of stories. It's like the Pulp Fiction of opera.
It's a lot of fun, it's interesting, it's exciting. It's a piece about us today, it's a piece about our lives, it concerns us. It's got some fabulous music, it's been very, very beautifully composed by Will Todd.
Sometimes you need to embrace uncomfortable situations or uncomfortable emotions and feelings in order to truly connect and to get the attention and to engage with those listening.
Alongside all the challenging things, there's actually a lot to enjoy.
We are all the same people, and I think art and the enjoyment of art really brings us together and delivers that message.